Hi, this is Tom Givens. I, Lynn, and the entire staff would like to welcome you to the 2026 Tactical Conference. This has become the premier training event in the entire U.S. for everything related to self-defense or personal protection. Over 40 nationally known trainers will conduct almost 80 blocks of instruction over 3 full days of education and fellowship. In addition, the discussions during lunch and after hours at the hotels will give you tons of information and the opportunity to build friendships with like-minded practitioners. We have conducted this event every year for over 25 years with a 100% safety record. We've never had anyone injured beyond the Band-Aid stage, and we want to keep that record going. We will be using real guns and live ammunition, so let me go over a couple of things. First, we will have an experienced full-time medic on scene throughout the event, equipped with a golf cart set up with medical equipment. There are RSOs at every live fire block, and they all have direct contact with the medic. To keep from having to use up training time in each of the 2 hour blocks to go over a safety briefing, I'm going to ask you to watch and heed the following safety briefing. This will save us a great deal of time throughout the weekend. We look forward to seeing you at TacCon, and this will be a great event. Thanks.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Tiff and Ak here from Rangemaster with the TacCon safety brief. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You will hear it here first. Note that this is in addition to whatever safety protocols your trainers take you through on the range at TacCon, but everybody is first required to watch this video and to abide by these 4 universal safety rules that we are going over just now. It's not going to be 20,000 rules like you see at some ranges. Tom Givens, our boss and mentor, is fond of saying that the more rules you have, the more likely it is that people will not remember them. So we're keeping it nice and simple. The 4 universal safety rules as articulated by the legendary Colonel Jeff Cooper. And we should note that these rules don't apply just to certain people or places or times. They apply everywhere to everyone always, because the safety rules are not just range rules, they are lifestyle rules. So with that, let's kick it off. Ak, over to you.
So, rule number one, all guns are always loaded. So, why would we tell ourselves that all guns are always loaded? Guns are dangerous tools. When you handle them, you are making life and death and large financial decisions. And we should afford them the respect of the dangerous tools they are. So, even when a gun is confirmed unloaded, we should still treat it with the respect of the dangerous tool that we know it to be. Just because we feel it's unloaded doesn't mean we get to ignore the other rules. So, if it's a bad idea doing something with a loaded gun, it's probably a bad idea to do it with an unloaded gun. All right. Guns are particularly intolerant of sloppy or unattentive gun handling, and the consequences can be quite catastrophic. So when we handle them, or even when there's one near us, we should dedicate most of our attention to doing it safely. Here at Rangemaster and CSA, we like to say that when guns come out, our safety brain gets switched on, right? And then it stays on, put some tape on it, so as long as the gun is being handled, right? Once the gun is safely stored away, then we can relax a little until another firearm is in our presence. Guns are literally designed to launch small pieces of metal at high velocity. We should assume that they are, in fact, what? Ready to do what they were, in fact, designed to do. We never look at a car and say, Tips always finds saying, we never look at a car and say, I bet it doesn't have a drop of gas in it. Cars run on gas, guns run on bullets. Assume that the gun is full of them and prepared to do what it was actually designed to do. So the only unloaded gun is the one that you personally unloaded or cleared. So we assume that it's in fact loaded. If someone tells you a gun is unloaded, clear it anyway. The only reason why someone would tell you that the gun is unloaded is to encourage you to be careless. Why else would they say it? Be responsible and assume that the gun is in fact loaded. And if you are in a place where you can morally, legally, and ethically shoot it, then go ahead and shoot it. If you're going to do anything else with it, admire it, show it off to a friend, clean it, fix it, unload it and clear it first. And that includes 2 steps. There's one, the unloaded, point in a safe direction, move the source of ammunition, and lock it open. And number 2, we clear it, meaning we check the chamber visually and physically to ensure that it's in fact unloaded. Then and only then do we have an unloaded gun at that point. And if the action is closed again, then we do what? We check it and we clear it. We make sure we never skip the clearing part, because that's the most important part of it, is to make sure that the thing is in fact unloaded. Hey, Tiff?
All right. So, rule number two, never point a gun at anything you are not willing to destroy. In other words, keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. But what does that mean? What's the definition of a safe direction? That is the direction where there is the least chance of unintended damage or injury. So you have to ask yourself, what is the safe direction wherever I am at this given moment in time? At TacCon, many of you will be staying in hotel rooms. What's the safe direction? You've got people on all four walls, behind the walls. You've got people beneath the floor, above the ceiling if there are floors above you. So how do you decide what the safe direction is? What about when you're out in the open, in the proverbial Walmart parking lot, or in the TacCon parking lot for that matter? What's the safe direction then? Bottom line is the safe direction is constantly changing. And at many times, there's not a 100% absolute safe direction. And all you're left to do is choose the lesser of many, many evils or potential evils. So we like to say, you are always looking for the safest available direction under the circumstances, and that's going to change from moment to moment. So that's why Ox said you have to keep that safety brain switched on. There is no point around the vicinity of guns where you get to become complacent and discontinue evaluating the environment. You continue evaluating the environment no matter what happens. So for purposes of TacCon, and really outside of cold storage, pretty much for purposes of whatever you're doing involving guns, that gun should only be in one of three places at any given time on the DPC property. It should be either in a holster, at the ready, or indexed on target. And the second two only happen under the instruction of a live fire trainer during class or under direct supervision of one of the official TacCon RSOs. And yes, TacCon is a hot event, so your gun should be on your person and loaded at all times. You should be ready to immediately start when you get to class. So we're not going to arrive in class with guns in bags or anything like that. Your gun is on your person, and you should assume that everybody around you is armed, which is why we're all so polite at TacCon. All right. So, rule number three is keep your finger off the trigger until you have made a conscious decision to shoot. If you're anything like me and you didn't grow up around guns, you probably learned a lot of your first gun-related lessons from images like these that have been seared into our consciousness. Well, this is not a good example of trigger finger discipline. So in the real world, we are not going to do what we see on television because TV is fiction. In the real world, if you're not actively shooting or indexed on target, preparing to potentially shoot, then your trigger finger should be high along the frame or the slide above the trigger and above the trigger guard. So we don't want to just rest it cavalierly along the side of the gun. You want to actively use the muscles in your hand to crank that trigger finger up as high as it will go along the side of the gun. If not, then the RSOs will call you on that, because if we give an inch, folks will take a mile. So trigger finger not just straight, but up as high as it can go and entirely clear of that trigger guard. For our last rule, I'm gonna hand it back to Ak. Go for it.
Last rule, always be certain, absolutely certain of your target and what's beyond it. Meaning, you must positively identify your target and know that you can morally, legally, and ethically shoot it. And if you decide to shoot it, you shoot it and only it. Now, before, during, and after your shooting, you must always be aware of what's near and around your target. You must be keenly aware of what's between you and your target, and you must know what's beyond it and control the trajectory of your projectile to ensure that it doesn't endanger anything that's behind the target. We know that bullets can travel through all kinds of surfaces. All right. These are some of the things that we know bullets can pass through. We got them listed here. I want you to keep this in mind so we don't deliberately or mistakenly shoot through objects and endanger things that may be on the other side of them. We don't shoot at sounds and rustles. We don't shoot at shadows or through doors. Again, we must positively identify our targets before launching bullets through or at things. Even at the range, where the backstop is designed to catch bullets, we are still what? vigilant and aware of where our bullets are going and what's downrange, ever ready to do what? Stop shooting if the scene becomes unsafe or things change. Which means we have to stay aware of what's going on. As Tiff said earlier, unlike the TV and the movies, bullets don't just go off into the ether and disappear. In the real world, bullets can travel far and endanger things you don't intend them to do. There are no misses with bullets, only intended hits and unintended hits. Tiff?
All right, so let's wrap up. Just a quick recap. Number one, all guns are always loaded. That is the mentality that we're going to keep in our head because we don't want to give ourselves multiple options in terms of how to handle firearms. We want one way to handle firearms. If we only have one option, we can't make the wrong choice. So you treat all guns as if they are loaded. And then, like Ox said earlier, you won't have any problems making mistakes of letting your guard down because you assume that a gun is unloaded. Keep guns pointed in the safest direction. That is, if you don't want to destroy it, don't put a gun at it. If you don't want to poke a hole in it, don't point a gun at it. Keep your finger off the trigger until ready to shoot. And off the trigger doesn't mean just casually. It means actively up high along the slide or the frame. And lastly, be certain of your target always, including what is beyond and around it. And these are not just applicable to the range. They also apply to the hotel. They also apply to your car in the parking lot. They apply at your house. They apply everywhere you go, always with all people. You are 100% responsible for anything that happens with that gun and any bullet that is launched from that gun or any other gun that you may ever own or possess. 100% accountable in every possible way. We're not just talking legally, but in all the ways you could ever be accountable. That's going to come raining down on you if you neglect these rules. So we want to govern ourselves accordingly, not just at TacCon, but everywhere. A few more quick reminders that apply to TacCon in particular for our conference weekend. First, there are no safe tables or fiddle tables, that sort of thing. At TacCon, those areas are completely out of service. Like we said, we don't want to have multiple options for places that you can do gun handling. There's only one place for gun handling and only one direction that guns can be pointed. That's towards the berm during a live class under the instruction of an instructor or with an RSO, as I said earlier, if you have some administrative handling you need to do. None of that happens on your own. So if you do see a side table or an empty space near a side berm or one of those what you call clearing barrels, those sort of things, those are all off limits for TacCon. We are not using those. All right. If you need to do any administrative gun handling, talk to one of the RSOs in Ox crew. All right, so gun handling on the firing line. The instructors will all introduce themselves at the beginning of class. They'll take you through, as I said, their additional safety protocols beyond what we've discussed here. And there will be a range master trained RSO or two assigned to every live fire class to assist with safety. Another venue specific thing to keep in mind, there is no high ready at Dallas Pistol Club. It's in the middle of a highly populated metropolitan area. The berms are very high. It's very well equipped, but we can't allow high ready or a temple index or anything like that. Muzzles have to be pointed down. We cannot afford to have anything come even remotely close to sailing over the top of the berm. So guns pointed downward at all times. And then listen to the RSOs. They're super friendly. They're trained. Many of them have been working as RSOs at TacCon for years and years and years. Akil is the chief RSO, so he leads that crew along with Martin and Chris and Ryan. And they are there to make sure that you have a good time, that you enjoy yourself, and that the trainers are able to deliver the best possible training block for you while you're there at DPC. So last but not least, please remember to have fun. Safety can sometimes come across as super foreboding and serious, and it is very, very important. But the reason why we're such sticklers for safety is because we want to free up the brain space for everybody to enjoy themselves at TacCon, because that's what it's all about. So with that, we appreciate you watching, and we will see you in Dallas.